I'm going in to catch up with Julian, the impossibly beautiful woman slurred, swaying as she pointed a manicured finger at me. You wait here. No listening, and don't you dare come in. She stumbled through the door of the hotel suite, leaving me in the hallway. When the lock clicked, it was like a switch flipped in my head. I was officially losing my mind. My wife, the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar empire, was having a rendezvous with another man, and she just ordered me to stand guard? Oh, hell no. I kicked the door clean off its hinges. One more kick sent the guy flying, and then I scooped my bombshell of a wife into my arms and walked out. I drove us to a deserted stretch of road on the edge of the city and let the car shake. Who do they think I was? I'm a man in my prime. I don't take that kind of disrespect. You see, I'd woken up in a novel. I was the pathetic side character, the guy who gets cheated on, the schmuck husband to a powerhouse CEO. I was supposed to stand by and watch her rekindle a flame with her college sweetheart, seething in powerless rage. I was supposed to be humiliated, divorced, and kicked to the curb. And in the end, I was supposed to watch them ride off into the sunset. The original script had me turning down a $200 million settlement, wanting nothing but my wife's happiness. I was supposed to live out my days alone, a testament to her greatness. Bullshit. When I read that, I wanted to burn the book. The main character lets the other guy walk all over him, steal his wife, and then he turns down $200 million? With that kind of money, you could date a new supermodel every day for the rest of your life and still not run out. And the whole alone forever thing for her sake? The woman cheated on you. What kind of deluded loyalty is that? I cursed the author for creating such a spineless character just to make the female lead look untouchable. A side character isn't allowed to have a brain? Well, watch me. I was going to rewrite this whole damn story. First, I claim what was mine. Then, I was taking the money and running. My foot connected with the door, and I stormed in. The scene that greeted me was straight out of a magazine shoot. Victoria was wearing a tight, black pencil skirt that hugged every curve of her ridiculous body. Black stockings encased her long, perfect legs. Her top was some kind of lacy camisole stretched taut over a chest that defied gravity. She was pure, unadulterated temptation. Every slight movement was enough to make a man's blood boil. Right now, she was lying on the bed, her usually frosty expression flushed with a deep, unnatural blush. God, it was infuriatingly hot. Julian was next to the bed, fumbling with his belt, looking like a wolf about to pounce. When he saw me, his face flashed with panic, then morphed into rage. What the hell? We'll let you in. Get out. Seeing Victoria like that just fueled my anger. I lunged forward and kicked him square in the shin. That, I snarled, is my wife. Julian screamed and crumpled to the floor, clutching his leg. He looked like he wanted to fight, but then he took my 6'3" frame and biceps the size of his head, and he wisely changed tactics. So what? She was feeling dizzy, so I helped her lie down. You have no right to attack me. When Victoria wakes up, you're finished. I suggest you get out now, while you still can. He smirked, thinking he had me. Victoria specifically told you not to come in. You're not afraid of making her angry, are you? He thought he had me pegged. The old Zeke was terrified of upsetting his Ice Queen wife. But I wasn't the old Zeke. I laughed. I'm her husband. You're telling me to get out? Who the hell are you? You're the one who needs to scram. I scooped Victoria into my arms and gave her cheek a sharp slap. You want her to get mad at me? Let's see it. I sneered. Go on, get mad. You're about to betray me, and you think I care if you're pissed off? Victoria whimpered. Instead of getting angry, she nuzzled her scorching hot face against my hand. She was losing it. Damn it. I was on fire. I was about to teach her a lesson right then and there. From the floor, Julian scrambled up, his eyes wide. Who said you could touch her? Get your filthy hands off her. You hit her, he shrieked, as if he were the righteous one. Victoria asked me to stay with her. You need to leave. If you go now, I won't tell her what you did. He couldn't take his eyes off Victoria's body, swallowing hard. The guy was practically drooling. You think I'm an idiot? I kicked him again, this time in the face. I know exactly what you were planning, you scumbag. You think you're worthy. I yelled. She's my wife. I'll hold her whenever I damn well please. What gives you, an outsider, the right to give me orders? Get the hell out. By now, Victoria was clinging to me, her body pressed so tight against mine I could barely breathe. What man could resist this? Especially me. I just picked her up and started for the door. You bastard. You can't do this. Julian yelled, clutching his bleeding face as he tried to block my path. Victoria will be furious. I can't, but you can. I spun around and delivered a smooth, cinematic kick that sent him flying across the room. This time, I didn't hold back. He hit the ground, groaning, and didn't get up, but he still had enough breath to threaten me. I'm calling the police. For assault. You go to jail. Leave Victoria and get out if you know what's good for you. I grin, a nasty, sharp thing. Not had enough yet. Go ahead, make the call. I'd love to see how long the sentence is for drugging and attempting to rape someone. I think they call my actions self-defense. I gestured to his half-undone pants. Don't try to bullshit me. You needed to take your pants off to help her lie down. Then I looked at the woman plastered against me. And you, I chuckled. Tell me, does she look like she's about to get angry? Julian panicked. It was hot in here, he stammered, his eyes darting around. I was just loosening my belt. It's normal. Victoria just had too much to drink, that's all. She wasn't drugged. I wasn't going to do anything, I swear. Get out, he pleaded. Sure, I sneered. And I've got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Tell it to the cops. You think everyone's as stupid as you are. Fear finally washed over his face. He started pounding the floor. No, you bastard. You can't touch her. She'll never forgive you. A smirk played on my lips. I ignored him, carrying the delirious Victoria out of the suite. No. Julian's wail echoed behind me, like the helpless husband in one of those cheap dramas. He couldn't figure it out. How did the pathetic doormat suddenly grow a spine? This wasn't how the story was supposed to go. The roles had been completely reversed. I rushed my feverish wife to my Maybach in the parking garage. Before I could even get the door open, her hands were already on my belt, fumbling with the buckle. It was enough to send a rocket to the moon. Whoa, easy there, Tiger. Never seen you this eager before. I grunted, prying her hand away. I opened the passenger door and unceremoniously dumped her inside. The second I sat down in the driver's seat, she launched herself at me, trying to kiss me. I instinctively slapped her ass hard. Sit down. The sound echoed in the quiet garage. I wasn't about to cause a scene down here. But damn, that felt good. I'd never gotten to do that before. Victoria let out a soft cry and stared at me with a wounded expression. For a second, I thought she'd snapped out of it, but then she lunged at me again. I sighed in relief and buckled her in her seat. Patience, sweetheart. We'll find a nice, quiet place for you to get what you want. I promised, my own voice thick with a fire I could barely control. I floored it, peeling out of the garage. Half an hour later, I pulled over on a dark, empty road. The woman in the passenger seat was already kneeling in front of me, the red marks from my slaps still visible on her cheeks. She hadn't been behaving, so she'd earned a few more. Now she was reaching for me again, hesitating when she saw me watching. Her eyes were filled with fear, but the need was stronger, and her hands slowly crept forward again. I almost laughed out loud. This woman, who usually wouldn't give me the time of day, was now looking at me like this. It was a damn good feeling. I hooked a finger under her chin, tilting her face up. Her skin was like silk. Looking in her desperate eyes, I chuckled softly. All right, let's do this. Her eyes lit up with joy, and she immediately went for my zipper. But I stopped her, pulling out my phone and hitting record. You're the one forcing me, right? I asked. She nodded eagerly, like a bobblehead. Satisfied, I leaned the seat back, closed my eyes, and enjoyed the show. I had to hand it to her. Victoria was a woman of many talents. She could run a boardroom, and apparently, she could do this with just as much skill and finesse. Impressive, I gasped. Spit it out on the floor. I started to say, but before I could finish, she proved me wrong again. Holy crap. Not only that, she even used a wet wipe to clean me up. Holy crap. Can I? She whispered, looking up at me with pleading eyes. I sighed, feigning reluctance as I fully reclined the seat. If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. As she climbed over me, I wrapped my arms tight around her slim waist, my voice a low growl. You're the one who started this. Don't you dare blame me for it later. One flip, and we were a tangle of limbs. It was more than a dozen minutes later, right as I breached her final defense, that she seemed to regain a sliver of consciousness. Bastard, you dare touch me. I'll kill you. I flinched, then anger flared. I slapped her across the face again. Are you kidding me? You were the one begging for this. Don't get all high and mighty on me now. I started to pull away. Fine. Don't ask for my help again. Victoria cried out in a mix of pain and fury. You hit me again. I'm going to kill you and then love you. She wrapped her arms around my neck, pulling me back. I scoffed, pushed her away, and slapped her again. And again. And again. Love this. I didn't stop until her cheeks were red and swollen. Slut. I spot. She whimpered, but didn't fight back. I'm a slut, she whispered, her voice laced with a strange, pleading sorrow. Please don't be angry, okay? That was more like it. Satisfied, I stopped holding back. You remember this, I said, my voice rough. You, Victoria Sterling, begged me for this. The Maybach's engine purred and roared until the early hours of the morning. Built to last, that German engineering. Truly a top-tier luxury vehicle. Afterward, I tossed Victoria into the back seat. She was completely passed out, a limp heap. She'd probably be asleep until noon tomorrow. I drove back to our penthouse, feeling damn good. Julian really didn't know his own strength with whatever he'd used on her. Good thing I had the stamina to handle it. Victoria was insatiable. I had to admit, the woman was incredible. That tiny waist, those long legs, that perfect body, that silky skin. Ahem, better not think about it, or I might just pull over and go for another round. Back at the penthouse, a palace in the sky worth a fortune. The sight of her torn skirt and shredded stockings on the floor still made my blood run hot. The memory was intoxicating. I covered her with my jacket, carried her to her own bedroom, and dumped her on the sofa. Then I climbed into her massive, soft bed and passed out. Whatever. I'd done what was supposed to be done, and what wasn't. If she tried to give me hell for it tomorrow, I'd make damn sure she paid me for my trouble. My new motto, be shamelessly right. The next morning, I was woken by a piercing scream. Zeke Collins, you bastard. You actually touched me. I'm going to kill you. A pair of small hands wrapped around my neck. Annoyed, I opened my eyes and shoved her off the bed with my foot. What the hell? Can't a guy get some sleep around here? You dare talk to me like that? Victoria was furious. Then her voice broke. You did that to me. I'm calling the police. For rape. You're finished. She scrambled for her phone, looking like she meant business. I wasn't worried. I just laughed. What are you talking about? I saved you from that creep, Julian. You should be thanking me, not calling the cops. Fine, go ahead. Call them. I'd love to hear how the D. Handles a case where your boyfriend drugs you with intent to rape. You. Victoria froze, then tried to defend him. Julian didn't mean to. Oh, please. He had you on the bed and was taking his pants off. You're telling me that was an accident? Are you kidding me? I sneered. You're defending him so hard. Maybe you wanted to cheat on me. She was speechless. Then her anger returned. So what if I did? Did I or did I not tell you to wait outside? Did I or did I not tell you not to touch me? You dared to disobey my orders. Kneel. I just stared at her, not moving a muscle. If I hadn't come in, that asshole would have raped you. And for the record, you were begging me. Don't act like I took advantage of you. You're lying, she shrieked. Julian would never do that. Stop slandering him. And don't you dare say you didn't take advantage. Then why am I? You monster. She was flushed with shame. I'd explored every inch of her inside and out. It drove her mad. Have you gone deaf? You broke our agreement. You touched me. Now kneel when you speak to me. Victoria seethed. Our so-called agreement was a list of rules. I couldn't talk back, couldn't raise a hand to her, couldn't touch her, couldn't even look at her for too long. I wasn't to question her actions and had to obey her every command, right or wrong, or face punishment. It was a slave contract, plain and simple. Kneel my ass, I shot back. He drugged you and unzipped his pants. And you're still defending him? Wake up. I pulled out my phone and played the video of her clinging to me. See? You begged me for it. I saved you. I satisfied you. And instead of a thank you, I get this? That's low. I feigned disappointment. Victoria looked like she was about to explode. She watched the video, her face turning crimson. You bastard. You recorded it? You're disgusting. Delete it. Now. She lunged for the phone, but I kicked her away again. Her robe fell open, and for a second, my eyes widened. I had a sudden flashback to being crushed by 2 giant planets. Ahem. Fine, I'll delete it. You think I want a record of that? It was insurance against you pulling exactly this kind of crap. I snorted. Without this, you'd be framing me for rape right now. I hit delete. You. She fumed. realizing she had no leverage. She switched tactics. And you kicked me. You kick me again. I dare you. I lifted my size 12 foot. Come a little closer, and I will. You. Victoria was practically steaming. How dare you treat me this way? How dare you disobey me? Aren't you afraid I'll just ignore you from now on? I threw my hands up. After everything, you think I care if you talk to me? What's the upside? If you stop being mad, do I win a prize? Her expression faltered. Then she sneered. I know who you are. Stop pretending. You were born to be a simp. It's your destiny. Her face was full of contempt. We're getting a divorce. You crossed my line. She shivered, remembering last night. It felt like 1,000 ants were crawling over her skin. There were aches in more than one place. Zeke Collins, that animal. Fine by me. Whatever you want, I said, not caring at all as I got out of bed to find my clothes. What did you say? Victoria froze, as if she couldn't believe I'd agreed so easily, so casually, as if she were just some ordinary woman I could take or leave. Aren't you supposed to cry and scream and beg me not to leave you? She asked, genuinely confused. What are you, a goddess? I rolled my eyes. Then I gave her a knowing smile. Honestly, you were just okay. Great tits, but the rest was pretty average. You, shut your mouth. Are you trying to provoke me into a scorched earth fight? She was livid, absolutely mortified. My attitude of having had my fun and not caring about the consequences was clearly getting under her skin. As if I'd be working that hard until 4 a.m. for average. Those things were huge, and she had the nerve to say I was rough with them? She barely touched them herself. Enough talk. What are your terms? I said impatiently. If the price is right, I'm gone today. Victoria choked back her rage. Her voice was ice. Fine. As you wish. I'll have my lawyer draw up the papers. Don't come crying to me then. She smirked. I'd have to be crazy to beg you for anything. I reached for my clothes on the floor. What are you doing? She scrambled back, clutching the robe tight. If you try anything, I'm calling the police for real. You pervert. I sighed. Lady, I'm just getting my clothes, okay? I'll leave them here for one night. And suddenly they're yours? That sure cost me $100. Besides, I added, I've seen it all and done it all. I'm bored. What are you so nervous about? You lecher. Your mouth is filthy. She stomped her foot. 100, you said? I'll give you 1,000. Now get out. She immediately sent the money to my account. A notification for a $1,000 deposit popped up on my phone. I hopped out of bed. Done. You like the shirt so much, it's all yours. Ah, Victoria shrieked and spun around. You're not wearing any pants. You deviant. I chuckled. I like to sleep naked. So what? You shy? Or are you scared? I took a step toward her. Don't be scared. You seemed to like it a lot last night. She stumbled backward. Shut up. Seeing her so flustered, walking with a noticeable limp, I couldn't help but laugh again. She shot back, trying to wound me. Well, you were pretty average last night, too. Oh, really? I pulled on my pants, a smirk playing on my lips. The woman who can barely stand is talking tough. If you're so tough, why were you screaming your head off? I'll tell you what from now on, whenever you feel that urge. Your mind is going to be filled with nothing but me. Victoria's face was on fire. Shut up. I'll forget about a lowlife like you in 5 minutes. She composed herself. I'm about to start my new, wonderful life. And say goodbye to you for good. Is that so? I smiled, turning to leave. What if you're pregnant with my child? She froze, trembling with rage. Impossible. 15 minutes later, to my surprise, the divorce papers arrived. It was like she'd had them ready to go. I read them over, my heart pounding with excitement. Just as I was about to speak, trying to play it cool, Victoria's cold voice cut in. Don't push your luck. $200 million for 2 years of your life. You're already coming out way ahead. Way ahead. I hit the jackpot. I got to sleep with the untouchable CEO, and now I was getting double the settlement money? Was it possible she'd fallen for me? I shot her a suspicious look. She frowned in disgust. Is it not enough? I have ways of making sure you get nothing, you know? I shrugged and signed my name with a flourish. Couldn't get out of here fast enough. Guess I was overthinking it. The extra cash was probably hush money. Victoria should have been happy, but seeing me sign without a moment's hesitation, she felt a strange emptiness. She shook her head fiercely, forcing a sneer. Don't play these games with me. You're never coming back. She quickly signed her name as well. I looked at her like she was crazy. You read too many romance novels. You really think the world revolves around you? With 200 million, I can have a different girlfriend every night. Why would I hang myself on one tree? Especially a tree I've already conquered. You, she seethed. Get out. Just get out. The money will be wired the second this is finalized. Please, you think I want to be here? I grabbed my suitcase. My entire life for the past 2 years fit into one bag, and walked out. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Honestly, a wife like that? Not worth it. Victoria watched my retreating back, stunned. That was it. He was just gone. Why didn't this feel like a victory? Ma'am, mister. Collins's suit is back from the dry cleaner, the housekeeper said, holding it out. Victoria waved a dismissive hand. Throw out. And check the house for anything else of his. Throw it all out. The housekeeper paused, her eyes lingering on the expensive suit with a hint of regret, but she nodded and went to do as she was told. After leaving the penthouse, I rented a huge loft downtown and just chilled for 2 days, waiting for the settlement to hit my account. Then it was time to retire. As long as I didn't get in a day trading or have some delusion about starting a tech empire, 200 million would last me a lifetime. But then my phone rang. It was Victoria. Did you go cry to my grandfather? She demanded. I rolled my eyes. Cry about what? I called to remind him to take his medication. I'm not that petty. Who asked you to care? She snapped. We're divorced. Stop with these little games. What? You think that's going to make me feel something? Are you serious? The old man was my grandfather's army buddy. I can't check in on him. I said, exasperated. So we're divorced? I'm supposed to just ghost him? I'm not that much of an asshole. And like you said, we're divorced. What could I possibly do to change your mind? It was a simple, friendly call. Stop projecting, okay? While the paperwork was still being processed, we both considered it a done deal. Victoria was silent for a moment. Just as I was about to hang up, she spoke. Grandfather is coming to visit. Can you? No. I cut her off immediately. We're done. Don't drag me back into your life, understand? Just tell him your college sweetheart is back and you're madly in love and can't live without him. Problem solved. Bye. Wait, she said quickly, her voice hesitant. I'm worried it'll be too much a shock for him. Just come back and pretend for one day. Just once. I refused again. Look, lady, I'm a busy man. I don't have any free time. $1 million, she said, her voice crisp and cold. Done. I answered instantly, grinning. Turns out my schedule just cleared up. I'd love to see the old man. I could hear her scoff on the other end, but I didn't care. Why would any sane person turn down $1 million? We set a time and hung up. The next day, I showed up at the penthouse in casual clothes and was immediately met by Julian, standing in the doorway like he owned the place. Dressed head to toe in designer labels, he looked down his nose at me, a smug little smirk on his face, practically screaming, I've taken your place. I ignored him and tried to walk past, but he blocked my way. Sorry, he said with a syrupy, sweet smile. Dress code. No sloppy attire allowed. I stopped. Are you sure about that? Julian tilted his chin up arrogantly. Of course. This is my house now. I make the rules. He really emphasized the my. I chuckled and turned to leave. Alrighty then. Wait, you're actually leaving. Julian panicked, grabbing my arm. I was just joking. I looked at him like he was a clown. So he knew why I was here, but he still had to be a dick about it. He was asking for a lesson. Who's joking with you? I brush him off. If the master of the house doesn't want me here, then it's only logical for me to leave, right? No, you can't. He grabbed me again. I spun around and slapped him across the face. Then don't give me attitude, I snarled. Victoria begged me to come back here today. Julian cried out, shocked and furious. You bastard. You hit me. Security. Security. The nearby bodyguards approached. Hearing Julian's order to take me down, they hesitated. Sir. Sir what? Get him. I'm the man of the house now. Julian shrieked. I laughed coldly. The divorce isn't even final, and you're already the man of the house. So Victoria is officially an adulterer. You touch me, and the whole world will know by morning. Julian's face went pale. The guards, hearing this, didn't move. They just watched me start to walk away. I hadn't taken 2 steps when Victoria's tense, angry voice rang out. Julian, what happened? Who hit you? I turned back with a smirk, about to speak, but Julian beat me to it. I was just joking with him, and he hit me. He said I wasn't good enough for you, that I was a worthless dog. Victoria frowned at me and snapped, "Apologize to Julian. Or else." "Or else what?" I shot back. "First of all, I didn't say that. And second, so what if I did? What are you going to do about it? Make him apologize to me. Otherwise, I'm walking out on this $1 million deal. I won't be treated like this." Victoria's jaw tightened. "Don't go too far. You're just jealous of Julian. Is this really necessary?" "Huh." I laughed. "Jealous? Jealous of his ability to lie without blinking? Jealous that he's built like a toothpick? If you believe him so much, roll the security footage." Julian's face fell. He quickly adopted a wounded expression. "It's fine, I'll apologize. You don't have to be so aggressive." "Too late. We check the cameras, or I'm gone," I said flatly. Seeing Julian's panic and my calm demeanor, Victoria instantly understood. She sighed. "All right, since Julian is willing to apologize, let's just drop it." "Why should we drop it? Who are you to decide?" I snapped. "Why should I be the one to take the fall? To be slandered? You think an apology fixes it? I don't accept." I turned and walked away. Victoria looked at Julian. His face went white. "I'm sorry, Victoria," he whimpered. "I didn't mean it. I just wanted to joke around with him. I didn't know he'd take it so seriously." "Fine. Don't do it again," Victoria said, a flicker of annoyance crossing her face. She rushed after me. 50,000. "Is that enough?" she called out. I spun around, filled with righteous indignation. "Is a man's reputation only worth $50,000 to you? Are you insulting me? Let me tell you something, Victoria Sterling. I may not have your money, but I will not bow to injustice." "This isn't about the money." "Then what do you want?" she asked, exasperated. "More money." Victoria was speechless. In the end, I reluctantly accepted her offer of $100,000. The look on Julian's face, like he'd just eaten shit, was priceless. Serves him right. I should thank him, really. Where else could I make 100 grand that easily? Julian's eyes were red. "Victoria, I'm sorry, I just wanted to—" "It's over. Forget it," she said, her expression strained. Using such a cheap trick was one thing, but doing it right in front of her? It made it look like she had terrible taste in men. And how could he just lie so easily? Had he done it before? She pushed the thought away and went inside. Julian shot me a venomous glare before following her. Was this guy going to cause more trouble? I shrugged. Not my problem. Half an hour later, the old man, Mr. Sterling, arrived in his Rolls-Royce. I went to help him out of the car. "Mr. Sterling, you've been sleeping well." He beamed. "Knowing I have a son-in-law like you. I sleep like a baby. It'd be even better if you gave me a grandchild." He gave me a pointed look. Victoria, about to step forward, froze. A faint blush colored her cheeks. "Well, you know, these things happen when you least expect them," I said, shooting a meaningful glance at Victoria. She glared at me, then took her grandfather's other arm. "I've just been so busy with work. There's no time." "What work can't be put aside? It's been 2 years and nothing," the old man grumbled. "The company won't collapse without you. I'm not dead yet." "Don't say that, sir. You'll live to be 100, I said quickly, helping him toward the house. "Zeke here is the sensible one," he chuckled. "I'm just afraid I won't live to see it." "Of course you will. I'll be sure to work extra hard," I said with a goofy grin, nudging Victoria with my elbow. "Right." She hesitated for a second, then nodded. Seeing her grandfather's smile widen, a strange thought crossed her mind. Had she really made the wrong choice? No, he was just buttering up her grandfather to make her think that. He was manipulative. Julian was so much better than him. The thought reassured her. Just as she was about to speak, Julian, who had been watching us with a face twisted by jealousy, suddenly dropped to his knees in front of Mr. Sterling. "Grandfather, I'm the one who should be your son-in-law," he wailed. "Victoria and I are meant to be. We've already sealed the deal. Please give us your blessing." Holy hell, was this guy insane? He was definitely lying. Victoria's first time was with me. So was her second, third, and, well, they were all with me. "What?" Mr. Sterling's face darkened with rage. "Who is this overdramatic punk?" He turned to Victoria. "What is going on?" Victoria looked mortified. She couldn't believe Julian would be so impulsive. But she gritted her teeth and gave a slight nod, confirming it. The old man began to tremble with fury. "You fool! How could you be so stupid?" He looked at me, his eyes full of apology. "Zeke, I've failed you." I shook my head and offered a calm smile. It's all right, sir. Her heart was never with me. It's good that she's finally with the person she was waiting for. Victoria was stunned. She had expected me to complain to her grandfather, to try and break them up, to fight the divorce. She even suspected this whole thing was a trap I had set. But it wasn't. Was he really being this decent? No, he had to be pretending. This was just another move in his game, a strategic retreat. The man was a snake. Her grandfather's guilt only deepened his anger. He glared at Victoria. How could you do this to Zeke? No wonder there's been no news for 2 years. You cheated on him? Just as Victoria was about to argue, Julian piped up. Yes, grandfather, please, just give us your blessing. We're truly in love. Love my ass, the old man roared, kicking Julian in the face. Don't call me grandfather. I don't have a grandson-in-law who is such a shameless, backstabbing parasite. I will never accept you. You will never be part of this family. Ah, Julian cried out, clutching his face. He looked pale, a flash of hatred in his eyes before he masked it with a wounded expression. Grandfather, how can you disregard Victoria's happiness? I'll take care of her. I love her. I'll love her for the rest of my life. Victoria was pale too. She helped Julian up. Grandfather, Julian is a good man. He gives me the emotional support that Zeke never could. The old man exploded. Go my foot. That useless bum isn't worth half of Zeke. He whispers a few sweet nothings in your ear, and that makes him good? You'll be the death of me. He suddenly clutched his chest and staggered back. I rushed to steady him, rubbing his chest. Sir, don't get worked up. It's not good for your health. He was furious. How can I not be? She's been blinded by this pretty boy. She's about to ruin the perfect marriage I arranged for her. And I failed you, Zeke. Victoria, who had been about to check on him, finally snapped. When you arranged that marriage, did you ever once ask me how I felt? My life is my own. It shouldn't be a cage. The old man froze, then scoffed. Arranging it may have been my mistake, but do you think I would ever do anything to harm you? Zeke graduated from Wharton. Your pretty boy went to some party school in Australia and got kicked out. How is he going to give you a happy life? Dump him and go back to making a proper life with Zeke. Victoria recoiled. So what? I love him. I'd love him if he were a beggar. I don't need him to support me. I will not be controlled anymore. You'll be the end of me. Mister. Sterling was so angry it looked like his white hair might catch fire. After a long moment, he regained his composure, his face like stone. You really want to be with this worthless, leeching pretty boy? Victoria jutted out her chin defiantly. Yes. We're going to be together forever. Julian was moved to tears. Victoria. Fine. The old man nearly passed out from rage. It seems I've spoiled you, given you too much power. If you won't listen to me, then you won't enjoy the benefits of my name. His face was dark. He turned to his assistant. Remove Victoria Sterling from her position as CEO. She gets it back when she comes to her senses and not a moment before. He fixed them with a cold stare. Let's see how happy you can be without my support. He took my arm. We're leaving. Victoria trembled, in complete disbelief. Julian was even more agitated. You can't just fire her as CEO. She's your granddaughter. The old man spun on him, his eyes glinting. You low-life trash. You dare to whine and bark at me? You dare to covet my family's fortune. He slapped Julian hard across the face. Ah! Julian screamed, his face contorting in a snarl. You hit me. He looked ready to pounce. I stepped in front of the old man, but he gently pushed me aside. Let him try. I'm an old man. I don't have many years left. He's crossed the line. As long as I'm alive, he will never set foot in our home. And as long as you two are together, you won't see a single penny of my money. He glared at them. Victoria swayed, but didn't back down. Julian, ultimately, didn't dare to make a move, his eyes burning with resentment. I'll work hard, I promise. Grandfather, just believe in me. The old man ignored him. He looked at Victoria with profound disappointment, then turned and left with me, his final words hanging in the air. You'll regret this. In a Rolls-Royce, seeing the old man's heavy expression, I tried to comfort him. Kids will be kids, sir. Don't worry yourself sick over it. He sighed. She's my only granddaughter. How can I not worry? If she was so against my arrangement, why didn't she say so from the beginning? I'm old. She doesn't listen to me anymore. he said, his voice full of sorrow. I patted his shoulder. If you could have someone look into that pretty boy's background, maybe you could get Victoria to see reason. He nodded, not saying much. This has been hard on you, Zeke. It was our fault for putting you in this position. I shook my head. It's fine. Victoria compensated me generously. But he wasn't satisfied. What's a little compensation? How about I give you the CEO position? She clearly doesn't appreciate it. I was stunned, but I felt no joy. Sir, I couldn't possibly accept. I haven't earned it. What? Not good enough for you? He asked, feigning offense. I shook my head. Sterling Enterprises is your life's work. For me to take over so suddenly would be irresponsible. Nonsense. I've heard that even though you were just her assistant, you were the real mind behind the company's strategy. I held my ground. Sir, you don't need to test me. I'm ambitious, but I'm not a schemer. I wouldn't feel right taking something that isn't mine. Please don't let a moment of anger damage our relationship. He studied me for a long time. The CEO of Sterling Enterprises. An 8-figure salary, plus stock options. And I had refused without even blinking. It seemed I wasn't just using him. You really don't want it? I'm serious, he asked again. When I refused once more, he smiled. I knew I wasn't wrong about you. He sighed. It's a real shame to let a good man like you slip away. How about this? I introduce you to my other granddaughter. There was the real offer. I smiled. I wouldn't be so bold, sir, but I'll leave it in your hands. The old man chuckled. You sly dog. You were waiting for that, weren't you? Fine, I won't hold it against you. Think of it as compensation. She's not my biological granddaughter, but she's brilliant, a Yale graduate, and just as beautiful as Victoria. She's working as my assistant now. I'll arrange for you two to meet. I had a faint memory of a stunningly beautiful and curvy woman who was always by his side. The old Zeke only had eyes for Victoria, so the memory was hazy, but I trusted the old man's judgment. He'd always been good to the original Zeke. I remembered that after Victoria kicked him out, the old man had tried to compensate him, but he'd refused, saying it was his own choice, all to protect Victoria's reputation. He even cut ties with the old man. It seemed my gamble had paid off. If I had greedily accepted the CEO position, our relationship would have soured. I was still an outsider, but now I had passed his test, and he was offering me his other treasure. What, you're not interested? The old man asked, noticing my silence. I shook my head. Of course I am. 1,000 times yes. I'm just worried she won't be interested in me. That's up to fate. But with your qualifications, I think you have a good shot, he said, sending me her contact info. Her name was Audrey Sterling. Meanwhile, back at the penthouse, Julian was fuming. Is that old bastard really going to give the company to an outsider like Zeke? His eyes were full of malice. Victoria looked at him in disbelief. Don't you dare talk about my grandfather like that. Julian flinched, quickly backtracking. I was just angry. I'm worried he's being manipulated by that snake Zeke. This whole mess is probably his fault, all to force you to go back to him. He planted the insidious thought. Even though he'd apologized, something still felt off to Victoria. But having just fought with her grandfather, she didn't argue. She just directed all her resentment toward me. I will never forgive him. He'll never touch me again, she seethed. A smile Julian couldn't suppress flickered across his lips. I texted Audrey. She replied almost immediately. You're in love with my cousin, aren't you? If you're planning on using me to make her jealous, don't bother. If not, let's get married tomorrow. She attached a photo and her measurements. She was gorgeous, a dead ringer for a movie star. I thought she was even more beautiful than Victoria, though maybe that was just my bias. Her measurements were model perfect. This was too good to be true. I tried to stay calm. Isn't that a little fast? Shouldn't we talk first? I've done my research on you. I think you're a good match. We can learn to love each other after we're married. I need to focus my energy on the business, she replied. Okay, I think you're a great match too, but my divorce is still being finalized. We have a month to see each other and get to know one another. And just so we're clear, this is between you and me. It has nothing to do with anyone else. A moment later, a new message came through. Where are you? Was she coming over now? I sent her the address to the mansion in Greenwich the old man had insisted I take, saying my loft was too shabby. I'd reluctantly accepted. 10 minutes. She was nearby. This felt like a dream. Was there something wrong with her? No, couldn't be. I changed my clothes and went downstairs. A Porsche pulled up, and a woman in a stunning red dress stepped out. She was tall, nearly my height, with a presence that was both elegant and powerful. The dress looked like it was made for her. I was speechless. What's wrong? You don't like it? Audrey asked, a little nervous. It's my first time wearing it. I can change if you want. No, don't. It's perfect, I managed. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. She giggled. I bet you said that to Victoria, too. That's in the past. Right now, you're the most beautiful woman in my world. All right, want to take a walk? She asked. When I nodded, she naturally looped her arm through mine. The feeling was intoxicating. I glanced down. Oh my God, is this? Okay, I asked, my heart pounding. You don't like it? She asked, a hint of panic in her voice. She followed my gaze, and her cheeks flushed, but she didn't let go. I blushed, embarrassed. No, you're very beautiful, very sexy. I like it. It's just so fast. She looked at me seriously. Time is short. The mission is critical. We should just get started. Huh? After we're married, she continued, you can't interfere with my work at the company. You can't make me a housewife. But at home, I'll listen to you. You can do whatever you want of me. Her face grew even redder. If you can accept those terms, let's be together. Okay, that was the upside. What was the downside? Can I ask why you're in such a hurry? This feels unreal. I'm just messing with you. The truth is, I've had my eye on you for a while, she said with a laugh. Remember all those strategic proposals you wrote? You didn't really think Victoria would adopt them, did you? I was the one who took them to grandfather and got them implemented. What? I was floored. I'd been so busy cursing the author. I'd never considered that. It made sense. Victoria looked down on the old Zeke too much to ever take his advice. So you've liked me for a while? I asked. Audrey squeezed my arm tighter. Of course. You're handsome, you're built, you're brilliant. As long as you stop being Victoria's pathetic little simp, I was interested. Together, we could take Sterling Enterprises to the top. National, then global. Damn, this woman had ambition. But a simp? Was it that obvious? The old Zeke was ruining my reputation. Ahem. I cleared my throat. From now on, I only have eyes for you. I slid my hand around her waist. Audrey blushed and leaned her head on my shoulder. I believe you, Zeke, she whispered. Just like that, I had a wife. After half an hour, I reluctantly walked Audrey back to her car. She was so perceptive. Seeing my expression, she gave me a hug and asked if I wanted a kiss. Before I could answer, she stood on her toes, pecked me on the cheek, and ran off. There, she called out, laughing. So you don't spend all night thinking about me. Watching her drive away, I was in a daze. This was a perfect wife. What was Victoria compared to this? Nothing. My phone rang. I excitedly pulled it out, but my face fell when I saw the caller ID. It was Victoria. What do you want? I answered. Did you manipulate grandfather? I can't believe you. Are you so desperate to get me back that you'd resort to such disgusting tactics? I wouldn't take you back if I were dying. I sighed. Are you an idiot? Go ahead, try and manipulate the old man yourself, and see how it goes. If I wanted to play dirty, I would have been crying to him from the start. The only reason any of this happened is because your boyfriend is a moron who decided to kneel and beg. How is that my fault? Have you lost your mind? This has nothing to do with Julian. Stop slandering him, she snapped. I laughed. Right. It's all my fault. You're a genius. You should stay away from him before you get any dumber. Victoria scoffed. There it is. You're showing your true colors. Still trying to get me back by bad-mouthing Julian. It's pathetic. Believe what you want. I hope you two losers get locked together forever, I said. I'm just giving you a warning because I don't want to see the old man get hurt. Mark my words, that guy's going to make a move on you and soon. She wasn't listening. Stop making things up. I will never be with you again. Get that through your head. I snorted. You think the world revolves around you, don't you? Well, just so you know, your grandfather already introduced me to Audrey. We just had a date. It went great. She's 1,000 times better than you. The second my divorce from you is final, I'm marrying her. What? Impossible, she sputtered. Audrey would never fall for a loser like you. Stop dreaming. You think everyone has your bad taste. I shot back. I'm hanging up. I don't want Audrey to get the wrong idea. I could hear her cold laugh. Huh? Trying to use Audrey to make me regret my decision? To make me come back to you? Dream on. It's never going to happen. That actually made me laugh. You're right. Getting married to Audrey is all part of my master plan to win you back. When we have kids, that'll be part of the plan too. When we grow old and gray together, That's also part of the plan. When I die, my last dying wish will be to get you back. There. Are you satisfied now? She hung up. I knew she wouldn't listen. You can't wake someone who's pretending to be asleep, and you can't talk sense into an idiot. Over the next few weeks, Audrey and I saw each other whenever we could. I was ready to retire, but she dragged me into the company to work as her associate. We constantly discussed strategy, and she was always impressed by my ideas, rewarding me in ways that left me breathless. I felt like if I decided to throw her down on a conference table, she'd let me. It was a world away from the hell I'd lived with Victoria. I couldn't wait for the divorce to be final. Victoria, on the other hand, was miserable. She and Julian had agreed to wait until the divorce was final to sleep together. But after his constant whining, she'd given in. The moment he touched her, however, a wave of nausea hit her, and she pushed him away, saying she wasn't feeling well. It happened again and again. Julian was getting desperate, especially since she was on the outs with her grandfather. If she suddenly came to her senses, he was screwed. So, he drugged her again. The moment the drink touched her lips, Victoria knew something was wrong. She looked at Julian, her eyes wide with disbelief. You drugged me? He tried to deny it, then switched to a pout. We're going to be married soon anyway. What's a few days? Don't you want me? He tried to embrace her. I want you so bad, Victoria. She pushed him away. No, not until the divorce is. But I can't wait. Please, Victoria, just this once, he begged, pawing at her again. A feeling of revulsion washed over her. He was completely ignoring her feelings, forcing himself on her like she was some cheap toy. She felt a pang of regret. Get off me. You're disgusting, she screamed, struggling. Julian held her tight. No, I won't. I love you. Smack. The sound of the slap echoed through the room. Julian stared at her, stunned. You hit me. Victoria shoved him away, her eyes filling with tears. Julian, what is wrong with you? You've changed. Is this all you want? What do you think I am? Her body was getting hotter, which only fueled her shame and anger. Julian exploded. You're the one who changed. Ever since that night Zeke took you, you won't let me touch you. What happened that night? Did he really just take you to the hospital? His eyes were red with anguish. Don't you love me anymore? Victoria felt a pang of guilt. If I didn't love you, why would I have fought with my grandfather? We're just not divorced yet. You have to respect me. Don't do this again, or I'll be really angry. Okay, Julian said, his head bowed in apology. But as he slowly approached her, a sinister glint appeared in his eye. Suddenly, he lunged, clamping a hand over her mouth and dragging her toward the bedroom. I'm sorry, Victoria. I just really want you. You can hit me. You can yell at me later. I don't care. Tears streamed down her face. She felt utterly humiliated, her body growing weaker. Just as he was about to succeed, she bit down hard on his hand. Julian screamed. Victoria scrambled away. Security! The guards burst in and took Julian down with a single punch. As they prepared to take the collapsing Victoria to the hospital, Julian lay on the floor, sobbing. I just wanted to love you. What did I do wrong? Why are you pushing me away? Victoria trembled, nearly falling. The next day, at the city clerk's office, I saw Victoria waiting. She looked pale. I glanced behind her, saw she was alone, but said nothing. After we got our divorce certificates, I couldn't help but ask, what's wrong? Your pretty boy pissed you off. She stopped walking. None of your business. Still hoping I'll come back to you. If I wanted that, I wouldn't have just signed these papers, I said, shaking my head. Besides, I'm getting married to Audrey this afternoon. She's moving in with me tonight. Are you trying to show off? She snapped. I smiled. I'm just telling you not to get any ideas. Even if you were pregnant, I wouldn't. Ugh. Victoria suddenly gagged and rushed away. Wait. No way. I ran after her. You're not pregnant, are you? It's none of your business, she said, her voice tight with panic. I stared at her. The hell it's not. Get rid of it. Don't you dare ruin what I have now. The baby is innocent, she screamed, finally breaking down. You think I wanted this? It's your fault. You bastard. At the hospital last night, they told her. She was pregnant. The timing was a month ago. She had fallen apart. She shoved past me and ran. I stood there, stunned. How could this be my fault? I've been repressed for years. Was I not allowed a little revenge? You're really going to keep it? I yelled, chasing after her. This is bad for both of us. It was a mistake. Julian will never accept it. She whirled on me. Whether I keep it or not has nothing to do with you. Are you happy now? You think Julian is as petty as you are. He'll accept it. I stopped trying. Fine. Do what you want. She shot me a glare and sped off in her car. When she got home, Julian was kneeling by the front door, weeping. The housekeeper said he'd been there all night. Victoria, I swear I will never do that to you again. If I do, may I be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. He crawled toward her, banging his head on the pavement until it bled. Victoria's resolve softened. I'm pregnant. If you're okay with that, then we can forget about this. Julian's eyes went wide, as if he'd been struck by lightning. He trembled. Of course. Of course I'm okay with it. But behind his eyes, a bottomless hatred simmered. A short time later, Victoria was on the floor, clutching her stomach, pale as a ghost. She saw the blood pooling beneath her and looked up at Julian's cold smile. Why? She choked out. You promised. She had trusted him again. She had drunk the oatmeal he made for her. And he had betrayed her again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Julian suddenly dropped to his knees, holding her and apologizing frantically. I can't accept it. Can't we have a baby of our own? Get out. Get the hell out. Victoria stared at the blood, shoved him away, her voice cracking. It was as if she could hear her baby crying for its mother. Don't ever let me see you again, you animal, she shrieked, calling for security to throw him out. Julian struggled as they dragged him away. What did I do wrong? I saw my own child. It was you. You betrayed me first. You slept with that bastard Zeke. Victoria flinched. Victoria, please, let's start over. I know I was wrong. He pleaded. I love you too much. Seeing only a dead stare in her eyes, Julian lost it. You slut. Did he fuck you good? Did you fall in love with him? You cheated first. What did I do wrong? He broke free, grabbed a fruit knife from a table, and held it to his own throat. I just want you to love only me. If you won't forgive me, I'd rather die. Victoria's heart ached with guilt. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry. Don't do this. I forgive you. Just then, a sharp voice cut through the air. Stop, mister. Sterling entered with his own security team. He shot Julian a look of pure contempt and threw a stack of photos and documents at Victoria's feet. Here's the proof of your garbage boyfriend's time in Australia. Cheated on 4 different women at once, got 1 pregnant, then drugged her to force a miscarriage before dumping her. He only fled back here to you after it all blew up. This is the man you love. Victoria trembled as she grabbed the file. Julian was in a full-blown panic. No, Victoria, it's all fake. It's photoshopped. The old man simply played a video on a tablet. It showed Julian with several other women, clear as day. Julian collapsed, defeated. That was all in the past, he begged. I only love you now. You don't mind, do you? Victoria was shaking. The man she thought she knew had crumbled into dust. All his previous actions suddenly made a horrible, new kind of sense. She was a fool. Get out. It was the most blood-curdling scream of her life. Julian was dragged away, still yelling. I just made a mistake any man would make. Why can't you let it go? Isn't it enough that I love you? You're not so pure yourself. A couple of broken toys. We're perfect for each other. Victoria's heart shattered. She swayed, and her grandfather caught her in his arms. She sobbed. Grandpa, I was wrong. I was so wrong. I should have listened to you. She cried until she fainted. Get an ambulance, the old man yelled. In the end, Julian tried his old tricks again, kneeling outside Victoria's penthouse, begging for forgiveness, even threatening suicide. He was promptly removed by building security. Victoria never went back. He tried to cause a scene at Sterling Enterprises and got arrested for disorderly conduct. After he got out, frustrated and repressed, he went to a club. In the early hours of the morning, stumbling home drunk, he was accidentally hit by a truck, ending his miserable life. Not long after, Audrey and I were married. Victoria didn't come. After she recovered, she took back her CEO title and poured herself into her work, closing off her heart. Less than a year after our wedding, Audrey gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. She'd said her grandfather wanted grandchildren, so on our wedding night, she had insisted we try. What could I do? I had to oblige, even more enthusiastically than I had with Victoria that night. The next day, Audrey could barely get out of bed. Years passed. A bad business decision cost the company hundreds of millions, and Victoria resigned in shame. The hardship made her realize that her earlier success had been largely thanks to my strategies. Her regret deepened. Audrey and I stepped in. We turned the company around. Seeing our success, the old man slowly handed the reins over to us. A few years later, when he passed away, he left the majority of his estate and company shares to us and our son. His last request was that we take care of Victoria, who inherited only a small number of shares. She lived a lonely life and never remarried. After she passed away, I went to her penthouse one last time. In the center of her closet, I found a man's suit, perfectly folded and preserved. My heart skipped a beat. It was mine. End.